T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Well, a very good evening and welcome to each and every one of you joining me, Miss Bel and Brandon and Brandon McAlpine for today's love. How are you, Flower?
I'm good, how's you?
I'm alright, my love. You having a busy week?
I have. I'm going everywhere.
Hook a have. There we are.
Go to me to see this.
We're definitely not dealing with people from Wigan today, are we? What have you been up to this week? Anything or nothing?
Work and going to I've started back at the gym.
Have you?
I have, yeah. I've been once and I don't have abs yet and I'm very annoyed about it.
You've been once. See, I don't like the gym anymore. They have stopped the good vending machines. All you can get from a vending machine these days is a pig in protein bar.
Awful.
But what do I want a protein bar for? I want at the end of my gym session to be able to go and find the biggest, fattest Mars bar or chocolate bars that are available.
I don't know if you understand, that's kind of defeating the purpose.
Not really, I've exercised first.
Yeah, but how much did you do?
It's irrelevant. Just because I looked at the machines, I should be allowed a Mars bar.
I don't know if that counts.
Yeah, well, you know, we've got an amazing show lined up for you today, everybody. We really, really have. We're going to be talking to one of the most fantastic authors, Mr. Matt Cain, in just a little while's time, about his brand new book.
Yes, which is Secret Life of Albert Entwistle.
I've had a good old read through it, and it's
it's a nice story.
Yeah.
It's so nice. If you want a nice, heartfelt story, it's that's the one for you.
That's your second hook of the day. Also today we are going to be talking with this morning's Emma Kenny as we're talking about imposter syndrome. Now this is due to a lot of questions that we've been sent due to mental health issues, and the one that seems to be coming up now, I've ran them all past Emma Kenny, is in fact imposter syndrome, which is a minefield within itself. Also today we're talking with Fizz from Coronation Street, everybody, the fabulous Jenny McAlpine.
Yes.
She joined Mark Llewellin just a little while ago to talk about her part in Coronation Street. She's been in it for years now.
She's one of the ones I genuinely remember. Like
what, when you were growing up?
Yeah.
Get out.
Like I do. I remember like her and David are like the two like prominent ones I'd remember.
That's outrageous, even by my standards. But first today, everybody, I have started doing a bit of work experience. So I thought the most important thing to do was to find out who wanted me to partake within their place, because you can imagine it gets a bit chaotic. And I was promised a cake to go to this particular work experience. Well, we'll see, won't we? I was promised a cake. Now, being promised a cake was enough for me to turn up a Daisy Nut garden centre.
You're late. Where have you been?
Well, I'm here now. I'm here.
Yeah, but you're an hour late.
I'm sorry. I better start work then.
Right, come on, get in.
At last, I've been waiting for you.
Alright, so what have I got to do then?
Water the plants.
Not just this table?
No, everything.
The whole centre?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late. Are you Paul?
Yes, I am.
And what is it you're doing here then?
Well, we're just having a look at this new delivery that's come in of plants. Look at these absolutely wonderful plants, aren't they? Look, the
They're
colours,
lovely.
aren't they?
What are they?
This is a heuchera.
Sorry, what? A euchera?
A heuchera, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
lovely.
It's a lovely plant, isn't it?
It
We've got
is.
this rather nice rhododendron just coming into flower.
Oh, I love a rhododendron.
Oh yes.
Yes.
You could go red for rhododendron, couldn't you?
You
and then
could.
of course we've got this. These people love these, you know.
They look like
this
they
is a
could get-
cordyline.
Do they just grow and grow and grow?
Oh, they do.
Oh, my old garden would be taken up, wouldn't it?
It would be like a nice palm tree sort of effect.
They're nice, them,
that
aren't
tropical
they?
effect. It really gives it, doesn't it?
Really nice colours and everything.
Yeah, that's a nice colour, isn't it? That one.
Very nice.
That's Nemesia.
Oh. Does it smell?
Just smell that. It smells of custard.
Oh, it does. Hey. Oh, yeah.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's lovely and it's really nice and strong. And then we've got this sort of thing. We've got this. This is lovely.
Oh,
as
in
well.
that strange shape.
Yeah, it's
It's like antlers.
it is. It's actually called. It's a contorted hazel,
A contorted hazel.
but its common name is Harry Lauder's walking stick.
Get you.
Yep.
Get you on that, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, you just have a little stick like that, and it's wonderful, isn't it? And that's that's the common name. But it's a lovely sort of plant, and you can get your nuts on this as well.
I don't think
It's a hazelnut.
Mm.
Amount of people are going mad on vegetables at the moment.
Right.
Everybody wants to grow their own veg. Sort of things. And this is really good. These
Is
are-
that a vegetable?
Well, no, this is actually not a vegetable. This is
Oh.
actually a fruit.
A fruit?
This is blueberries.
That's
You
a
know,
blueberry tree.
Yeah. They do well in pots and containers. You have to use a special compost for them.
Oh, what's so special
Is
about
it-
the compost?
It's ericaceous compost.
Oh, right. Which means what?
It's got no lime in it.
Oh, no lime in it.
No lime in
right,
it. But
okay.
basically, you put in a big pot this,
Yeah.
and you can save you an absolute fortune every week on your weekly shopping when it starts producing
Oh,
the
yeah, because blueberries, everybody's got them these days. It'd be nice to grow your own, wouldn't
would.
it?
And herbs are lovely at the moment. There's lots of herbs. People love herbs at the moment. People into herbs in the garden and this sort of
Yes.
thing. You know, they can't get enough parsley and that sort of thing.
Parsley.
Yeah, you've got to get rid of the smell of garlic. That's why you use that. You know,
Yes.
And then you've got to get sage as well. This isn't
Does it smell?
Yeah, give it a good
Oh,
push
I'm
in.
frightened of hurting them. Oh, way. Now that is everything.
Sage and onion stuffing.
That would go well with the other thing that we just had a sniff of.
All right.
Oh, but that would love
It
it.
would.
I'm planning candles, everybody.
And then what about this one?
No, I used to have one of these in my front garden.
Curry.
Is it a curry one?
That's curry plant. Oh, I know.
Oh, it takes me back.
It's wonderful. It keeps the cats away, though.
Does it?
Oh, yes,
Stops
wonderful.
the ween all over it.
Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Right. So what we got then?
Oh yes, we've got some lovely houseplants here. This is a spathiphyllum. It's called the peace lily, but it's one of those plants that everybody can have in the house. And it tells you what it needs, and especially when it wants watering, it just wilts. So it tells you, and it's a lovely sort of thing. It's not like a lily flower. It's called a spadix. It has this little sort of thing in the middle.
Does it smell like a lily though?
No, it doesn't
No.
smell at all. It's a nice. It makes a nice green plant, and then we've.
This is my all-time favourite. Now, what do we call this properly?
That's an anthurium.
Anthurium.
Yes, and these are available in lots of different colours now.
Yes.
And you can see that waxy flower, and they last for months and months. Just keep them moist and feed them about every 2 or 3 weeks, and these flowers will stay for months on there. You get them as cut flowers as well, but they're rather nice for the house.
Stunning.
Yeah. Other things people want at the moment are things for the bathroom. Things like this is a stag's horn fern.
For the bathroom?
Yeah, plants in the bathroom or in the house.
Yeah.
People are into hanging plants, and this is you can see how it gets its name.
Yeah.
And but it's a rather nice, and people like these lots of hanging plants, and that's where lots of people are going at the moment with those things in the bathroom or something like that. That's a rather nice one. That's like a sort of zebra plant.
Looks
It's
like
a
a hat.
Tredescantia.
A zebra plant, just for our Carol. There we are. How lovely.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to hang down. It'll go down sort of about another foot or so, that particular plant.
Wow.
And if the good thing about these is if a bit breaks off, if you take it, put it in a glass of water, it will root. And you've got another one. I shouldn't tell you that though, really, because we don't want everybody growing sort of thing. And then people like ferns. That's another rather nice. Like again, a good plant for the bathroom, like a warm, hot, steamy place. The bathroom and the kitchen are some of the best places to put houseplants. in the house because they
nice
like
hot, steamy
hot, steamy place. It's not too tropical. And then sort of things like this. Never buy one of these. Get somebody to give it you. It's called a money plant or jade plant.
Right.
So if they give it you,
Yeah.
it means you're going to have money.
All right.
So always sort of go for sort of thing. So it's always useful. And then again, you can take a piece of this off,
Yeah.
stick it in a pot, it will grow, and then you can give it to somebody else. So,
So keep the money rolling.
That's right.
This is a Festucia. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? What's that called? A YB. It's a pot. Grow more. Story of my life. Like a rabbit. Okay, red hot poker. Thank you. I'm very impressed with myself. Can I go for that cake now, please? Thank you. I'm going for a cake, everybody. A cake.
Well, Belinda did very well, apart from she was very tardy with her timekeeping. I've got to mark her down for that. But she threw herself into it. She's been a big hit with the boys on the staff, I noticed. I'm not sure what she did for them. And eventually she did end up with a cake. We shall never forget her at Daisy Nook, no matter how hard we try.
Ah, thank you ever so much. Thank you. Are you not doing your tap dance before you go? Come on, let's see this tap dance. Thank you. Oh, that's very good. Yay! Well done. Very good. Tap dance, cake, garden centre. It's all here, everybody. It's Daisy Nook. So there you go. I did a bit of work as
And you got dinner and a show.
I got dinner and a show.
Dinner and a show.
Oh, it's fascinating, isn't it?
Oh, did you learn a lot about the plants then?
Did I what?
Learn a lot about the plants.
I learned a lot about the cafeteria. Yes, I did, honestly.
Next up, we've got Emma Kenny, who's on to talk to us about imposter syndrome.
Indeed. Hello, Emma. How are you?
I'm good, I just enjoyed watching that.
Did you do any gardening yourself, Emma?
No, but I was really thrilled when he suggested that he'd given you a secret tip about how to grow those plants without buying them, and then he realised his mistake, and it was brilliant watching it.
He just gave away half of his profit there.
He did.
Sneaky.
Nevertheless, now we brought you here today because we've had a few messages and we discussed it. It actually all relates to the same thing. This is imposter syndrome. Now, what is it defined as? What is imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome is known also as fraud syndrome. So basically, a position where you're either really worried that other people are going to suddenly realise that you're terrible at what you do, so it's about other people's perceptions, or alternatively, you have a concern that even though everybody else thinks you're doing a good job, that really you're going to get found out at some point because you don't have the belief in yourself. And actually, when we look at research around imposter syndrome, most people who have it, apart from the fact that they have this insecurity, it tends to come from the fact they're naturally talented and gifted at what they do. And they look at everybody else and think, well, why are they struggling when I don't feel that I am? And they have to do less work to achieve the same acclaim. So therefore, instead of owning that and feeling really positive and confident, they imagine that it's to do with them doing a lesser job. So that's kind of a summing up of what imposter syndrome is. It's really common.
Wow, yeah, I mean, we were talking about it obviously before the show and we talked about what's going on. And I personally think I've got imposter syndrome. But I think that's quite popular, especially in the performing industry. I think we're quite prone to it.
I think that the performing arts and the media are one of the most challenging areas to hold self-esteem and self-worth. Because if we're going to have a really honest conversation about the media itself, it's known to spit people out, it's known to reject and abandon people, It isn't always the friendliest of places. So part of that is that you're worried about your own skill set not being good enough, and even though they will be, hence why you're doing things like this, sometimes it's because we look at somebody else's reflection of us and imagine that that's the real reflection of ourselves. And actually, when you're in the media, you have to do a lot of work around self-confidence and self-worth just to maintain your resilience level. It's a hard industry. It's not that you don't have the talent, it's that sometimes you don't know the right people.
And is this something that I suppose a lot of the young people that come into using social media are more than likely to be prone to come up against?
Do you know what? Actually, one of the things that they're finding in research is that we're more likely to create kind of narcissistic traits in social media. So to some degree, it could be that some people start having a bit of an overinflated ego. But like you said, for those people who are more mere mortals like myself, when I go on and look at social media, I just get convinced that everyone's like 8 stone, fully toned, eating green stuff all the time and living their best life with an A-class whatever car they've got. Like, so for me, it's not something that I find that helpful. I definitely think that the less time you spend online, the more time you spend in life, the healthier and happier you'll be. And I undoubtedly think that a lot of those people who are vloggers and bloggers and Insta-famous people probably suffer from imposter syndrome because they are posting completely mythical lives that no one can ever compare to, including themselves.
Very much so. I mean, they probably come back off it, and I've heard many people who have met these kind of people and gone, "Oh, they weren't like that in real life," and it's like, well, yeah, because it's a performance, a facade, and it's that difference between them.
I don't know how they keep it up. I really don't know how they keep it up.
How can people avoid getting this syndrome then?
I don't think it's about necessarily avoiding it, it's about realising you suffer from it. So if you've been brought up in an environment, for example, where specific areas of your personality or your praise have been focused on one area, when you transition and try doing other things and don't get necessarily the praise for it, because you're used to that, chances are that you might start believing it because you're not good enough. That could be one reason. But the other thing is just like, we get appraised through our life from school. Very early on, we're told whether you're a success or failure, which is a terrible idea because intelligence can't be measured that way. But we do it from like 5 to whenever you leave school. So part of it is to say, well, how much baggage am I carrying around? I think I'm not very good at this, but actually my actions and the consequences of my actions seem to suggest that I am. Why am I carrying around this mental baggage that doesn't belong to me? And it's almost like an undressing exercise of who told you what about yourself, and then kind of going, well, actually, Miss Johnson, you told me I was rubbish at that, but really that's your opinion, not my fact. And also, if you're really affected and you're really insecure, then things like therapy can help. It's a long waiting list, but it can still help. And I guess the most important thing is affirmations, lots of affirmations. Some of us have gifts that others don't. The most important thing I say to everybody, every client I've ever worked with is, you have one identifying factor that means that you're a masterpiece. You have a fingerprint. Mother Nature knows why she gave you that fingerprint. It's out of 7.5 billion people. You are an absolute one-off, a masterpiece. And so is your skill set. It's just finding them, honing them, and then really tuning into them.
And I suppose that's really important to do. Emma Kenny, thank you so much for your time today.
Take
Always
care.
a pleasure to speak to you, because you just tend to make sense, Emma, to be completely honest with you. You tend to make sense, and that's kind of the feedback we get from all our lovely viewers as well, so we'll catch up with you really soon. Thank you, Emma.
Thanks, Emma.
Amazing!
Isn't it?
Well, not amazing, because people are suffering with it and everything.
But I think if anyone watching this has now identified a bit of them in themselves, and they can move forward to make themselves a bit better in that way.
Absolutely.
So it's quite good, yeah.
Yeah, now I suppose there's a lot of it goes on, isn't there?
There is.
Now, if you do want a little bit of escapism, though, of course, the cinemas are reopening.
Oh, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I've already been.
Have you been?
I went to see Spiral, the new Saw film.
Jealous. However, if you're not feeling confident enough because you're of a certain age and you don't want to go out with everybody just yet, then why not check out what's on the box?
Hi, I'm Hayley and welcome to this week's On The Box. How are you all doing? The first thing I would love to recommend is a wonderfully heartwarming series called When Calls the Heart. It's on Netflix and it's set in the 1900s, and it's about a young teacher adjusting to life in a frontier town. There is also Shadowbone. That is a world divided by darkness, and there is an orphan with extraordinary powers. That's also on Netflix. We have a new series called Soundtrack. There are 2 series of that, and that is a musical journey about 2 struggling artists in LA. Now, if you're a fan of Friends, which I know many of you will be, from Thursday, Sky are streaming a special show called Friends The Reunion. This is an unscripted episode with all the main cast, and they're revisiting the sets from the show Friends, and they're doing table reads, reenacting scenes from the old shows as well, and they'll also be sharing behind the scenes footage. So if you're a massive fan of Friends, don't forget, from Thursday that goes out over on Sky. Now on iPlayer, I'm interested to watch The Pursuit of Love. Now, that is two friends who are thrown together in a whirlwind adventure. So, lots to keep you busy. You take care. I will see you next time. And remember, stronger together. Bye.
So there we go
There we
then.
are.
Plenty on the box to be watching this week, everybody. There's loads going on Netflix and all stuff like that. There's loads going on. But you know, just sometimes I like to settle in. And as
in
my
the brew.
friend Sue Duvernay says, sit soft and just nestle in with a nice book. And one book that is just been released, it is absolutely fantastic, and it's
it
by
is.
one of my fantastic favourite authors, Mr.
Yes.
Matt Cain, and he's joining us right now, everybody.
Yes.
Mr. Matt Cain, welcome
Hello,
to the
hello.
show. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Although I'm afraid my setup can't compare to Emma's. She looks so glamorous and nicely lit. And it's just me at my desk at home. I look haggard.
I know, but you look very gorgeous as always,
Wow.
Mr. Matt Cain. You really, really do. Now, we have brought you on to talk about this book. Now, I do believe it is your fourth book, is
It's
it?
the fourth book, yes.
Fourth book. I mean, after
Crikey.
the success of the Madonna book, I mean, do you think that anything could possibly beat that?
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? You, as an author, you look at emotions from your life and experiences from your life, and you kind of rework them, you know, and you kind of explore them in your writing. I'm not sure I kind of thought about when I was writing this, could I top the Madonna with Bolton? My main thing was, my main motivation was to explore their history of it, to look at how awful things used to be and how much better they are now. And I do that through this character, this older gay man who's in his 60s, and he basically sets off in search of the love of his life, a man he hasn't seen for nearly 50 years. And along the journey, I obviously don't want to give too much away, you have flashback sequences which show how their relationship at the time was not allowed, you know, was frowned upon, and they had to meet in secret and had an awful time, terrified of being found out, and ultimately were torn apart in mysterious circumstances. We don't find out about at the beginning, but we find out as the story goes on. And I wanted to contrast those scenes with the world that Albert is living in now, and how much better things are for queer people these days. Well, nice and positive and uplifting.
I mean, it's got total heart throughout the entirety of this book, though, hasn't it? I mean, it is positive, yes, but I mean, it's just got total heart. I mean, look at the comments that you're getting already. From Jonathan Harvey, he says he's thoroughly enjoyed it. Albert is delightful and charming, and the book is too. From Ruth Hogan, you've got Albert is such an endearing character. I mean, when you're putting these characters together, do you ever set them out to be perceived as a certain way, or do you feel it's more important for the reader to make their own choice?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
I thought so.
She tries.
Can I just say, the best comment we've had so far that I literally squealed when it came in was from Lorraine Kelly saying she liked it, and I got very excited about that one. You do think about how you hope the readers are going to respond to your characters, and I like to make them laugh, and I want to move people emotionally. And it's lovely that you've said the book's got a lot of heart to it, because I put my heart into it. And that's really what I want people to take away from it.
Well, obviously, we've had originally one of your other bestsellers is The Madonna of Bolton, which sort of followed Charlie growing up, learning about being gay. This is sort of a bit of a reverseness on that, and Albert doing it in the opposite way. Did you find an issue of going from the younger version to the older, or did you find it quite easy to shift between the two?
To be honest, Brandon, I was actually quite nervous about writing the period sequences, just because I've never written in period before, and I was worried I wouldn't be able to get it right. But then when I realised that actually these two teenage boys, as they are, would not have been able to meet in public, in their school, in their homes, they would have had to go to a secret place. And what they do is they find this old war bunker on the Lancashire moors, because the book's all set in the northwest, and that becomes their secret meeting place. And when I realised that they wouldn't be around their mums, dads, friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was easier, but yeah, I quite liked contrasting what it was like then to what things are like now. I quite enjoyed that.
So where can we get the book then? Is it in all good bookshops?
I'm hoping so. Yes, absolutely. It's out now. I know we're not supposed to say Amazon, but it's absolutely on Amazon and in all the shops. I'm going to be coming up to sign a load of copies in the Waterstones, in Manchester, and in the Northwest. I mean, there's a lot of the book set, as you know. There's a whole big key sequence that happens on Canal Street, specifically the New Union, where Albert's been looking for this love of his life, and there's reasons why you can't find him online, and there's this big twist that happens in the New Union. So it's very much a Manchester book, and as soon as COVID allows, I'm going to be there in every bookshop I can get in, signing copies. And
just start handing your book out, being like, do you know who I am? I put a book in your establishment. See you later.
What's next for you then? What are you working on next? Are you bringing us another book? Anything that you can give us as a bit of an exclusive?
I can tell you that I am working on 2 book ideas. We don't quite know which one's going to come out first, but they're both set in the Northwest, and one of them revolves all around Manchester Pride. So very much Manchester set books, and there's a theatre project I'm working on as well, which is also set in Manchester. So
where else could you set it? Where else could you set it? Matt Cain, as always, an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Yes.
I'm going to get through the entirety of this within the next few days.
I'm getting man signed at Waterstones.
You can get yours signed at Waterstones. You're such a fangirl at times.
I am, I love it.
Honest to goodness. Matt Cain, thank you very much for your time today. Absolutely amazing. It's a good book. I mean, I'm only up to page 68, I think, or is it something like that? Let's have a look where I'm up to. Let's have a look where I'm up to. Oh, 91, sorry, page 91.
I'm glad you can count.
I'm only up to that. But it is a cracking book, everybody. The Secret Life of Albert Entwistle is available now, everybody. Where am I at over there? Secret Life of Albert Entwistle is available now, and definitely one for you to fully enjoy. Take your time with it. Go on holiday, anything like that.
Yes, and next up we've got the fabulous Mark Llewellin, our Corrie stan, as the modern folk would say, and as he interviews Jenny McAlpine.
Coronation Street star, restaurateur, and all-round wonderful person. Welcome, Jenny McAlpine, to your Manchester.
Hello, nice to see you, Mark. You okay?
I'm very well. Are you?
I'm okay. I can see your Manchester. I've brought a little bit of Manchester here above my head. Oh, look, actually, do you know what? Actually, I promise. I'm a bit obsessed. Chris tells me every time I come home from the shop, I have something else with a B on it. But look, can't help it.
You see, you're a magnet for local traders.
I am.
So we've got to talk about Coronation Street, and I mean, at the moment you're embroiled in another big storyline. You're always in big storylines.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? It doesn't feel like you are when you're doing it. But then when someone sort of talks you through, kind of, you know, what you've done, you think, oh yeah, there's been quite a bit, hasn't there? And yeah, so it's all been a bit sad. I keep getting sort of people shouting at me. There was 2 blokes in a carpet fitter's van the other day shouted at me to deck Tyrone, and if I don't, they'll do it for me. It's been a bit heartbreaking for our Fizz, and there's a bit more to come, really.
This is an anniversary year, isn't it, for you on the street?
Yes. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so it was 2001 when I joined Coronation Street. So if you do the maths, it's been 20 years.
Yeah, you've been in the show a third of the show's run.
Yeah, and over half of my life, like over double, like over half again. So I was 17 basically. Yeah. So I've been in it longer than I'd been alive when I wasn't in it, which is crazy. When I was supposed to be there for 4 episodes.
That's right. I remember when you came in as fostered by Roy and Hayley.
It just as part of their storyline, just you know, I was just going to be another foster kid for them, and well, we just know what amazing characters they were and are. We miss Hayley so much daily, and yeah, I was dead lucky. I love Coronation Street. Always been a fan of Corrie. I thought, well, I'll go and do this, and then I'll go back to my job in Boots.
The rest is a tumultuous history.
Totally is just an amazing history that I can't even. And then hopefully you're not going to ask me what my favourite thing is, because your thing is you just can't. You can't pick it. Well, you know, like as a fan of the street and as a fan, you know, you can't pick your favourite bit. And being in it, I can't pick my favourite bit. My favourite bit in general are just the amazing people that I've met, and the fact that like my life is in Manchester, and I feel so lucky.
On your Manchester the other week, we were paying tribute to Liz Dawn and looking back over her career. And you've worked with some fabulous people, haven't you? And now Maureen Lipman, of course.
I adore. I mean, yeah. I mean, back to Jack and Vera. We always say, we were talking about actually only the other day, because our little Bella, who plays Hope, was asking why the house is yellow and blue. So we were trying to explain to her. But also, the thing is, it is never not going to be yellow and blue. Well, as long as I'm there, I'll always fight. They try and take. I mean, I don't think they can actually come off. They are totally cemented on. So yes. Vera made sure that stone cladding was not going to move. But I genuinely, and Alan feels the same. I mean, and Alan worked with them from when he very first was in it. But I know he's not living with us any longer. But I feel like I am a lodger in their house. Like, and I'm very pleased to be. Like, it just is always going to be Jack and Vera's, and we talk about them often. And yeah, it's just an honour to live in their house, but it definitely is their house.
So for those people that haven't been to Annie's before, you're right in the city centre.
Yeah.
You do a brilliant afternoon tea, but it's also very northern, isn't it? I mean, it's cheese and onion pie.
Yes,
and,
yes,
very. You're a
very
berry girl, aren't you?
Yes,
so we do have a bit of black pudding.
There's black pudding. There's always black pudding on the menu. We've kind of introduced a few new things, but there's always something black puddingy on the menu. It's you're right. Traditional cheese and onion pie is always on there. In fact, we've got a bit of a pie section going on the menu now. So there's a few different pies, and then we're going to have pie of the day. So it's quite heavy on the pie from that section.
Very good. Well, I think it's perfect for coming out of what we've gone through, because it's like kind of an embrace.
That's lovely to say, and I think that's what kind of people that have visited us before have really said that they've missed that, because hopefully we are a bit of a warm place. I mean, you can there's a lot, and that's what's amazing about Manchester, like how much choice there is, and how like what amazing places you can go to, and that's what I just hope that bustliness comes back. But yeah, Annie's is its own unique place that is it maybe gives you a little warm hug, and hopefully you feel comfy. And people have often said they feel comfy being on their own there, which is really nice, because not everyone not everyone wants to go and dine out with their family. Some people just fancy a little crumpet or a bit of black pudding on their own, which is totally allowed.
There are one or two people that I'm not looking forward to having to hug again.
I know, that's the other thing. This is the thing, you've had the excuse, haven't you? You've got to think of another excuse now. Ooh.
I know. It's like going around the supermarket, isn't it? Wearing the mask. It's been a boon for a lot of famous people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, although I don't know. I think it's when I open my mouth. I can have a hat on and a mask and still can say, "Oh, Fizz, what's Tyrone doing to you?" How did you notice? I think it's me gob.
Wonderful. Well, we hope people come back to Annie's and go and enjoy some lovely northern fare.
Yeah.
And we hope things work out for poor Fizz as well.
Well, yeah. That one I'm not.
Can you give us any hints?
That one I'm not sure about. All I can say is we've got some lovely scenes coming up, as you said, with Maureen. Because Evelyn's kind of like a bit, you know, she's torn between her grandson, but who she thinks has been a bit of a, you know, duck egg, and Fizz, who she wasn't quite keen on in the beginning, but feels sorry for now. So we've had some lovely scenes, and because I was gutted at first because I thought, oh no, this means that I'm not going to have any scenes with Alan, and I absolutely adore him. It's my, you know, and I feel so comfy with him. But I have still had scenes with him, and I've basically just been shouting at him, just even more than I was when we were together. So yeah, I've not actually missed that. We've still had lovely scenes.
Wonderful. Well, whatever happens, I'm sure you'll be at the centre of Corrie action for more years to come. You know, you've become such a Corrie legend, so we do enjoy watching you. So thank you very much for joining us. And,
thank you. And next time,
hopefully
I can come and see you in person.
Yes, because you must meet our Belinda, who is also a very theatrical redhead.
Yeah, now I feel like I have met Belinda on some sort of red carpet somewhere. I'll definitely have, because you can't forget that. But
Yes.
I need to have an actual sit down and brew with both of you in the studio, definitely.
I suspect she's doorstepped you at the front of the Palace Theatre once or
I didn't like to say, but yes, she did.
She does hang about on the streets there.
She smelled gorgeous, if I remember. That's what I remember about her.
Oh, that may not have been her then. It's normally urine and crisps. So thank you very much indeed, Jenny McAlpine.
That's me.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's
so long as the beef, I'm not fuss blower, honestly.
I mean, if we get her on, we could have like Battle of the Gingers. Like, I'm ready for it.
I mean, she'd win. She could just rip mine up in a second, couldn't she? She'd win.
Excuse me, that's so natural. Don't you put yourself down. Don't have imposter syndrome, love.
What? Thank you. What a love. Very good. We're working on that one. What an absolutely lovely, lovely woman. And what a great interview from our Mark. Now, he's back with us next week talking about Hilda Ogden. Do you remember Hilda Ogden? Shall I describe who Hilda Ogden is? Yeah.
Go on.
Hilda Ogden was the one with the hairnet, and she was ever so common.
She wanted to stop actually doing who we were talking
about. And she had rollers in her hair.
Yes.
Yeah, she was great. And her husband was Stan. Do you know much about Stans?
Yeah, because I stan people. See, she learned this about 5 minutes ago what standing means. I stan you, Belinda. I stan you.
You stan me?
I do.
Sounds like something I need natural yoghurt to cure. But anyway, we're moving on now, everybody. Of course, we've been looking into travel here with Your Manchester over the last few weeks, and we tend to keep going on with that as long as we possibly can. We want to make sure you're all looking forward to the perfect holiday. So stick with the travel counsellors.
Didn't that look nice?
Cocky did, yeah.
Here she goes, taking the mic. Anyway, next up we've got the sun, the sea, whatever Paul says is on next for us. Please welcome Paul Rudd.
Hello, good evening. Hello, my lovely weather watchers, and welcome to this week's weather forecast with me, Paul Rudd. And yes, I'm all covered up this week. Don't worry about that, guys. And it's been a very disappointing May, hasn't it? But guess what? It's looking sunny this week. It's looking good. So let's have a look at this week's forecast. Thursday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 17. Friday is sunny and cloudy with outbreaks of rain with the temperatures of 16. And as we head into the weekend right now, Saturday is looking sunny and cloudy with the temperatures of 17, and Sunday the sun will have his hat on with the temperatures of 16. So it is getting better. I hope you enjoy yourselves if you're going out. That's it for this week's weather. Do join me again next week. And now it's time to hand over back to the studio for this week's fabulous episode of Your Manchester.
Do you ever wonder where them stairs in his garden lead to?
All the time. Like, I really
look
just
at
want to
them
go to
and
your
I'm
garden.
obsessed. I feel like if you went up them high enough, you'd end up in
The
Narnia.
secret garden
Yeah,
kind of
exactly,
style.
exactly.
I see that for Paul.
That's his garden.
How do you have a garden that nice? I mean, I want the hot tub personally.
We'll leave the hot tub for a good few years. I'm still getting counselling for that. Quite the VT that he sent us the other week, wasn't it?
It was. Caroline loved it. So.
No, it was nice. It was lovely. We've got a fantastic show lined up for you next week, everybody. We really, really have loads and loads of guests, and we'll announce them as we shush it. We'll announce them as we go through the week, everybody. But make sure you check out our audio version of this show. That is, of course, our podcast available on Spotify, iTunes, and all good audio platforms.
I even hosted it last week, which means you want to listen to it even more.
And I'm on it this week, which means, you know, you will actually listen to it. So anyway, everybody, it's an absolute... and take a breath from the gallery over there. Thank you very much indeed. As always, an absolute pleasure. Make sure you check out all our socials. We're available on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, YouTube, you're on Grindr. I mean, it's all going on for you, everybody. Literally.
She's an OnlyFans. What?
I wish. Hey,
I'm charging $2.99 a month, guys. Get it down now.
I don't know what you're talking about, darling, so I think we should just leave it there. As always, an absolute pleasure to be here with you all.
Yes, always.
Here on this lovely show, only on Your Manchester.